everybody. It's this Javier Balderramos. This is Planet Texas, and I have brought back Miss Emily Bonds. Now we're going to talk about some stuff that we're going to have some trigger warnings. This is for other people's benefits because normally when I do recordings, I'm not going to say there's something wrong, but there's something that the people that I have on my show have overcome. There's some kind of dramatic moments in their life that they have triumphed over. Like they're just not here just to celebrate that she is Miss Southwest of Texas. She had a journey to get to this point. And when I say the journey to get to this point, we're going to start from January the 8th, 2021. That is the day you decided to quit drinking.
Yep, that is the day. My husband and I, we were in Colorado. To take everybody back. That's we thought COVID might be over, right? We all spent 2020 hunkered down, and it was January. Let's get a. There was all sorts of cheap flights because nobody was flying. We got a great deal on some plane tickets and a penthouse hotel in Denver, Colorado. It's something we would never be able to afford otherwise. But we were like, let's go. My in-laws offered to watch the 2.5-year-olds, so we just went. And I got the drunkest I ever had been in my whole life. Um, Terrible, terrible. I had something like 14 drinks in one, like within 5 hours. Don't recommend. Um, but when we got back to the hotel room, I told my husband, "Hey, I don't feel well. I've got to go to the bathroom." And so I went into the bathroom, threw up, like the most forceful vomit I've ever had in my life. And at some point, I passed out. And when I woke up, I tried to get, my head was back and my hair was everywhere. And when I tried to get up, my hair was frozen to the bathroom tile floor by my own vomit. And so I had to basically take my hand and like shivvy my hair up. And when I, sat back up, I realized how close I was to falling in the toilet. Like if I had just maybe had a little bit more weight forward, I would have drowned on my own vomit and toilet bowl water in my early 30s. So I was sitting there looking at that, and I just get up and I look at myself in the mirror, frozen vomit, stuff on my face, on my clothes. And I heard this little voice and it said, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" And I said, "Yes, I'm done. And if you'll help me, I'll help other people." And that's really started me on my whole sobriety journey of sharing everything that I've put out there. And it's what God has put me on this earth to do, is to help other people overcome addiction to alcohol. And I've been doing that by being on podcasts, doing the pageants. This is all stuff I would normally not do on my own. To be honest, I'm a pretty introverted person, and I like to talk to my same three friends and not go outside of my safety circle. But I told God that if He helped me, I'd help other people, and that's what I'm doing.
So God gave you an opportunity, I
Hmm.
said, so to speak.
Yeah, and I know it wasn't my voice, and I don't know how to describe that. I've been thinking like, how can I get people to understand this? But like, it was not my own voice. It was
I mean,
somebody else.
we could just say it was somebody, like it was somebody spiritual,
Hmm.
somebody you made up. Just it could have been God. It could have been the sign that you needed in order to get yourself right.
Yeah, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit. Other people don't have to believe that, but I had been on a very dark road for a very long time, and I hadn't listened to myself, my husband, the church, hadn't listened to anybody. I just wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. And at that moment, it became very clear that me being the captain of my own ship was not serving me. And I had to let God be the captain. and best decision I ever made.
So what did your husband do when you told him that you wanted to be sober? Did he help you? Was he excited? Exactly what?
Well, he didn't really believe me because if you notice, it was January 8th. I said I was going to stop drinking the 7th, the 6th, and the 5th, you know, because this, it's New Year's, you New Year's, right? But he didn't believe me at first, but I think I think it was a couple of weeks later when hadn't drank for about 2 weeks that he told me, yeah, if you stop drinking, I'll stop drinking. And he's been supportive whenever we go out. If we're with other people that drink, and if they make any sort of comments, he's the first to kind of stand up and say, "Hey, don't do that." Or if we're, having if we go out with anybody, they're like that, he'll say something. And he's also been really great to give me resources. So, fun fact, when I was attempting to get sober, there were no treatment facilities near me because I thought maybe I could check in as a day patient, get some resources. There were no facilities near me. All of the AA meetings at the time were online, and I didn't really want to bare my soul to a bunch of strangers on the internet, um, which is kind of what I'm doing now on this podcast. But anyway, but he was really great with helping me find books and helping me find passages of scripture to really lean on. And he was great. And everybody needs a Scott. And I'm very lucky. We've been married now for 14 years at this point. We've been together 18. So I couldn't have done this without him.
So what are some of the challenges now that you're sober that you face?
Oh, I don't have So as far as challenges go, for a long time, I used alcohol as a way. If I was happy, I drank. And if I was sad, I drank. And I'd been doing that since I was 18 years old. So I didn't know how to regulate my own emotions. And it wasn't until I stopped drinking, everything was out of my system, that I came to the realization that I had chronic mental health issues. So I had to go get treatment for that, and I'm doing that right now. Still in treatment for that. But if I hadn't have stopped drinking, I never would have known that I had these issues, because that's what I was using alcohol for, was to treat mental illness. And I feel like personally that a lot of people probably do that and they just don't know it. But um, it's definitely been interesting to say the least.
Well, because like I know a lot of people have issues when it comes to drinking.
Hmm.
Because even in my field, like I could personally tell you, like once you start drinking, see, I'll tell you I drink, but I like to think I'm a happy drinker. Like I'm not gonna drink just to because it's like a Tuesday. I have to drink because
Right.
I have to like enjoy myself drinking, which I don't think I'm an alcoholic, but I could certainly tell you I can enjoy myself with drinking. But there's a lot of people once they start drinking, they just don't stop.
Yeah,
Like
it's
one,
when, oh, sorry.
it's like one turns into five, five actually turns into 10, and you're just in this black hole. I've seen this black hole because I've seen a lot of the offenders go through actual AA. And I can't actually tell them because it's actually like actually Alcohol Anonymous kind of.
Hmm.
But I could personally tell you that they will tell you some really deep, dark things that they don't even remember, and it's kind of crazy and insane sometimes. So
Oh,
I can
yeah.
only you go through.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there was one point during the pandemic, because we were all ordering groceries online and you could get margaritas delivered at your door. I was drinking at 1.4 bottles of wine a day, and I was in charge of ordering all the groceries and all the Amazon packages so I could just put stuff in the recycling, and my husband had no idea. And it had gotten to a point where I either had to stop drinking or I was going to die. Like it was there. And I'm glad that I chose to stop drinking route, obviously, because I'm here today and helping other people. And it's interesting to look back because that woman was hurting so bad. I was carrying around guilt and shame and anger that I've been carrying around for 30 plus years. And now that I've told alcohol, you don't control me anymore, all that has gone away. I've been able to forgive people that I was angry at, forgive myself for things that I did in the past that weren't honorable. But I would never have been able to do that if I'd continued to drink.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you keep up with like celebrities and so forth.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, like I remember a few weeks back, I was actually reading about Molly Cyrus.
Okay.
Molly Cyrus went sober at 27 because there's this thing about celebrities and like high profile people.
Hmm.
Once they get to 27, for some reason, something happens to them. They end up hurting themselves or they end up committing suicide. Something happens at the age of 27. And she said that she realized that. So
Hmm.
apparently at the age of 27, she became very clean and sober at that age so that she can further on make it to 28 and 29 to 30.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. And, she got famous so young. Can you imagine growing up? And that's why I have probably more of a heart for people like Miley and Brittany and Rob Lowe because they grew up in a fishbowl. We were all watching them grow up, right? And
Hmm.
anytime they made a mistake or anytime anything happened, we all knew about it. Could you imagine? Could you
Yeah.
imagine that?
Well, that's funny that you mentioned Rob Lowe because I actually have a story of Rob Lowe.
Oh, tell me.
Okay,
Or not, whatever.
yeah. I mean, I can tell you. So me and like the security, because there was a show called 911 Austin or 911 Lone Star.
Yes, 911 Lone Star. I
Remember that?
used to watch it when I had Hulu.
Yeah, so it was filmed in the Austin area.
Okay.
So he's actually sober.
Right. Yeah.
But he got bored because I think one of the stipulations to his contract was like he can't go out and drink, he can't do this, he can't like there's a lot of stipulations in the contract. But he wanted to get out. And he actually couldn't like I'm not gonna say he was held hostage, like no super celebrities held hostage, but certainly if you want to get paid the way you want to get paid, you're gonna
You have certain things to keep the insurance that you have to do.
yeah, you're gonna be mindful. So I remember the security snuck him off the property. And I was like, I was one of those people that helped him get off the property.
Oh, good job.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we were so like one of the things we couldn't do is like we couldn't go to like an all out bars, because it was
Right.
like a Wednesday, and then like one of the things is like you don't want him to drink. So you can't drink yourself, even though we went through the trouble of like getting him off the
Yeah.
property. So I
Just
when in all huh?
take them to Top Golf. It'll be fine.
No, what we did is we took him to Happy Chicken.
Oh, okay.
It was on 6th Street. And it was like the middle of the day. And I remember there was this little like 20-year-old little girl who thinks she just like ruled the world, just the queen of the universe, serving Rob Lowe and just a bunch of schmucks.
Hey,
And
you know,
yeah, and I remember Lowe was like, she doesn't know who I am. I'm like, well, I mean, you're
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 old
at
enough to be her dad. Like, she
yeah.
doesn't know who you are. You're
Oh,
outside of California.
yeah, so we're sitting there telling them like you're at a chicken bar at like 2 in the afternoon with a box of voodoo donuts. I mean, like
Oh, voodoo.
it's like I don't know what like nobody's gonna recognize you, especially not some 19-year-old that you just saw
No.
dancing on the phone.
Oh, you want a voodoo drunk story?
Yeah, what you got?
Oh gosh. So they make those that Voodoo Donuts makes a donut that I think it's the Elvis is what they call it. It's got like peanut it's named after Elvis. It's got like peanut butter and banana on it. I think it does. They also have one that has Butterfinger on it. But maybe on January 8th, I had several of those donuts while being incredibly intoxicated, and they do not do well coming back up the second time because that was a part of my concoction that I had on January 8th. So,
Like stuck in your hair is some
yeah, yeah, that and a bunch of pizza. So,
that's the best. The best. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, donuts and pizza.
I mean, I just had pizza. I just had pizza and like a little Debbie in between us recorded.
Yeah, yeah, no big
Like,
deal.
yeah, the best. I can't believe you're winning. You're winning. You're winning more now than what you were before. But that's what
Oh,
I
yeah,
was.
that's what we're focusing on.
So, how do you? I'm not going to ask you what your chronic mental issue is.
Mhm.
Do you deal with it?
Well, I stay sober and
No.
I really watch what I put in my body too. I don't drink a lot of soda, and if I do, it's caffeine free. I only have one glass of coffee a day because caffeine is something that does it messes with your mood. It makes you go up and then you crash. So I really watch things like that I put in my body. I even watch the supplements that I take. A lot of people are big on creatine. I've tried 3 or 4 types of creatine, different brands, and they all made me jittery, so I don't do any of that. I go to boot camp with my girls. I go 6 days a week, and those girls are really great accountability for me. They always ask me, "Hey, how are you doing? How's pageant life? How's sobriety life? Are you taking care of yourself?" So they're a great layer for me as well. And I go to therapy. I see a therapist to talk to her, and I have a really great treatment team. And that's kind of how I keep it. And I have a great church community, and they've really embraced me. I'm going to be honest. I was in church beforehand. I was a greeter. I go to Second Baptist. It's a huge church here in Houston. I go to the 1463 campus, and I was greeting people while hungover, and nobody knew because I'm a great actress. But when I came out and said, "Hey, I've been really struggling with alcohol. I don't know what to do," they surrounded me and prayed for me and made sure that I had all the things that I needed. And it's still that way. If I'm not my normal happy self, somebody will ask me, "Hey, what's going on? How can I help you?" And that's all you can ask for is to have a great support system and people that care about you.
I'm so glad that you actually go to church because I try to make it a point to go to church. Like, but I think I end up being like once a month
Well, the
kind of person.
best way to make yourself go is get into a Sunday school class and then get into a role where you have to be there. Going to be honest, my husband and I, we were once a monthers for a while, and we walked into Sunday school one day, and the leaders of our class said, "Hey, can y'all take the role?" Like, sure. And that turned into, "Can you take the role every Sunday?" Okay, sure. And then that turned into us getting to know everybody's names and everybody's faces. I'm going to be honest, otherwise, I don't know if we would be as active in church as we are if we hadn't have had that job. But that's the best way to do it. Become in charge of the role, and then you'll magically be at church all the time.
So, how do you think your journey can inspire others?
In a lot of ways, I am the modern face of addiction when it comes to women. We don't we don't necessarily go out to the bars every night. We're at home drinking wine, cocktails while we're making dinner for our husbands, while we're after we put the kids down, we're having multiple glasses of wine a night. And my hope is that I can help women remember that they are amazing being their true, authentic self. And they don't need a glass of wine to help them get through the day or the night or the week. Just be your true, authentic self. And that's all you need to be.
And then also, I wanted to ask you if you have any words of encouragement for others that are actually going through the same thing that you once went through.
If you can get through the first week, you can get through the next years. If you can get through the first week, you're going to be fine. Um, I would recommend reading a couple of books. The first one is called Alan Carr's The Easy Way to Easy Way to Quit Drinking. He basically talks you out of drinking alcohol. It's a great book. Read it multiple times. There's also another book if you happen to be a woman. It's called Quit Like a Woman. It's a very informative book as well, and the author's journey is very interesting and it's different than my own. But I would just say if you've got alcohol in your house, throw it away. And you need to be, if you have a partner, you need to be very open and honest and say, look, I'm stopping drinking and I hope that you're going to be supportive. And if they're a true life partner, they're going to be supportive of you. And I hope that everybody has a Scott who is just as interested in my health as I am. So just be honest with people. And if you can make it through the first week, you're going to be fine.
And then I also wanted to ask you about if there is a way that you can give us, like a step by step of your experience on
Mhm.
what it was like from you going from point A to point B to point Z.
Um, so when we got home off the airplane, I really wanted to go have a margarita. I'm going to be honest. I got off the plane. We departed right in front of Papacitos in Hobby Airport. And I really wanted, because I hate flying. I hate it. It makes me incredibly nervous. And I really wanted to just go sit down and have a drink, but I said, no, not going to do that. And a couple weeks later, we had the great ice storm. Do you remember the great ice storm of 2021?
Yeah, where the entire United States is covered in a cold front.
Yeah. And we were over at some friend's house, and everybody was drinking. And I was like, maybe I should have some whiskey too. And I went over and I had a friend who I had told that, yeah, I'm going to stop drinking. And she grabbed the whiskey out of my hand and threw it, didn't throw the glass, but she poured it down the drain. And she's like, no, you're not doing this anymore. Remember? It's like, yeah, I remember. But as far as step by steps along the way, put the glass down and then really think about, after a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, why were you drinking that much? Why were you drinking that much? What baggage did you have in the past? I know for myself, I was still really mad about some things that happened when my son was born. I was mad that I almost died. That I didn't get to have that close bonding experience with him. I was holding on to that anger, even though it was 6 years. He was at that point 5 years old. He can't go back in time and deal with that. But just figure out what you're holding on to that's causing you to want to numb your own mind. Just really think about it. And once you've gotten to that point, you're not going to want to drink anymore because you know why you were drinking, and hopefully you've been able to fix it or make amends with whatever that demon was that you had. I don't know if that answers the question.
It's good enough, Like the more you talk about it and the more that other people hear it, maybe that's something that they need to hear in order for them.
Yeah. Because I don't know who's going to hear this podcast. It could be somebody that's been in recovery for 10 years, or it could be somebody that, they're sober curious. And who knows, somebody could watch this 2 years from now in January as a part of Dry January because they Google it and this episode pops up.
Well, it's crazy that you say that because I've had episodes where like nobody watches it, and then I've had episodes where it's like 3,000, I'm just a part-time doofus that just comes online, and I just use my degrees for what
Yeah,
I know. I don't actually like have aspirations to do this for a living, but it would be nice. It would definitely be
right.
nice. But I would rather help people than hurt people.
Yeah, same.
And what are your future goals and aspirations that you have for yourself?
Future goal, obviously winning the national pageant in June. Big goal. I plan on writing a book. That is my 2026 goal, is to start a book, because there aren't really a lot of female voices in the sobriety circles. In sobriety circles, there's not. It's dominated by men because historically they have been the ones with substance and alcohol use problems. But we're catching up. The women are catching up, and that's due to a whole lot of different factors that we could go into if you've got the time. But
Yeah, we can definitely go.
um, there's not a lot of voices out there, so I want to write a book and kind of put my story out there. Maybe I could help other people, and I really want to learn how to make a baked Alaska. That is my Roman Empire. That is a goal of mine. It's a dessert. That's like a fun goal of mine.
Like Alaska. I think it's ironic that we're recording this today, and it's actually National Margarita Day.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh, so if you're ever in Dallas, there is a place called Gloria's, and they make these margaritas. They're about this big, but if you have about two of them, you're not going to know what day it is.
Hmm.
I I I don't miss them, but they're very like nostalgic for me. And I have yet to find a good, like, there's ritual tequila now. There's a bunch of like, they call them non-alcoholic spirits. I've tried a couple, but I haven't been able to find a good tequila replacement. Tanqueray makes a Tanqueray Zero, which tastes to me way too much like gin. I can't drink it, but I've yet to find a good substitute for tequila. It has not happened yet.
Yeah, because I was actually at my mother's house a while back, and I saw a commercial. Chili's made a movie on Lifetime.
Is that real? Did they really do that?
Yeah, they really did that. They built
About
and they made
like Ty Diggs or something is
yeah,
in it? I
the
thought
actual.
that was just like a skit. That's like a real movie.
It's a real movie, and apparently Chili's, and I was
Oh wow.
laughing. I was like, I go to Chili's. See, I've gone to the Chili's in Austin, the one that's supposedly like the greatest Chili's of all time.
Hmm.
And it's just full of hippies. It's just full of
Of
hippies
course.
and like blue hair people in there that work there. I,
I
I
mean,
will I will gladly take my Pflugerville and Round Rock chilies. Much
yeah,
closer.
yeah. So they used to make a pretty stiff margarita back in the day. I haven't been to Chili's though in forever.
Oh, you're missing out on the best of mediocre. Like the best. Like if you want average and you want like inexpensive good time average, you go to Chili's.
I just know the baby back rib song. Chili's baby back ribs.
Yeah, now they changed it to 3 to 10. See that we're doing a Chili's commercial. You don't even know
Dang it,
it. Yeah.
subliminal. Their
Where's
marketing. Dang it.
where's the sponsorship at? We got to get it.
I know. You should write them, tag them.
Good. We're gonna tag them right now. When we're gonna put it on and use my Twitter machine. Like, so before we leave off, do you have anything you would like to add, say before we go?
I would like to tell everybody that you don't need alcohol to have a good time. When we were kids, you didn't need alcohol to make new friends. You don't need it now. You don't need it at the party. Go and talk to that person you want to go talk to. Your authentic self, it's enough to go make friends. So just put down the wine glass and go have a good time.
Yes, you should put down the wine glass and have a good time. This is Javier Valderramos. I have Miss Emily Bonds. We shared the story of celebration of her winning her beauty pageant. And now we're talking about her addictions and alcohol. And I want to thank everybody for coming on. Hopefully you like, subscribe, comment. Tell us that we're bad at it. Tell us that we're good at it. Just say something. Just let us know that you're paying attention. Thank you, Miss Emily.
You're welcome. Thank you.